Here we have with us today Rosa. Rosa is going to be talking to us about a taste of Tulum. What to do, what to eat, where to go, everything you need to know about Tulum, Mexico. So let's welcome Rosa. Thank you for being here. And
No,
I
thank you for
cannot
having me.
wait to hear everything you're going to tell us today.
Well, hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well today. So I guess I'll just kind of jump right in. So I'm sure you guys have seen Tulum like all over Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. It's a very, very popular well, with conditions going on right now, maybe not as popular, but it's definitely, up there on the list. I've been to Mexico multiple times. I've done like the typical Cancun. I had gone to Cabo, and I always heard great things about Tulum. And now that, it kind of exploded all over social media, I figured, why not check it out? So I went earlier in the year. I actually went in January this year, so only a couple of months ago, even though it feels like an eternity. But it was really good. I was only there for 5 days, but I felt like for me that was more than enough. I went with one of my friends, so we kind of wanted to have more like a super chill, laid back vacation, mostly just like chill by the beach, lounge in the pool, eat a lot, drink a lot, just something super relaxing. But that's the one thing that I learned about Tulum, that it has something for like everybody. Whether you're traveling on a budget, whether you want to do something more upscale and luxury, it kind of has a little bit of everything for every single, taste, for every single budget as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess first I'll talk a little bit about the place itself. So like I said, Tulum's in Mexico. It's about an hour. Yeah, it was about an hour away from Cancun Airport. So we flew into Cancun. We flew out of New Jersey. So it was like less than a 4-hour flight, so super quick. And we had arranged for pickup right from there. So we had a taxi company come pick us up, and it cost us about $100, $100 US.
From the airport to Tulum.
Correct. And we had a private transportation. A lot of people that I know that have gone to Tulum in the past, they rented a car, which is super cheap. When I looked online, you can rent a car for like $5.
No
like
way.
$5 US a day. Yeah.
Wow.
So very, very cheap. But because it was just myself and my girlfriend, only 2 girls going, we were a little bit hesitant to rent a car and kind of explore on our own. Neither one of us kind of felt comfortable, driving there or anything like that. So we just opted just to do like the private transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's also like shuttle buses that will take you as well. And I think that's probably about $15, $25 a person.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a little bit more economical, but we just kind of want to just get right to our destination. So we're like, let's splurge. Let's just get a private, taxi, and it'll take us straight to, where we need to go.
Did you pre-arrange the taxi, or did you just cut
Yeah.
one taxi there?
No, so I pre-arranged it. So before going over there, I do a little bit of travel blogging. So I actually was working with 2 different hotels while we were down there. And one of the hotels that we stood in, they actually recommended this travel agency.
Okay.
And I arranged it beforehand. Because I figured that was just easier than instead of somebody trying to hassle me in the airport.
That is true.
Yeah. So
now, where did you stay when you went there?
So we actually stood in 2 hotels. One of them, it's more like a condo hotel. It's called Cecil, and it's in the Pueblo area of Tulum. A little bit more in the outskirts, like if you're leaving the town itself. So maybe about like a 10-15-minute walk from the city center.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty cool. So like the place had like less than like 15 apartments. So we actually had like a 2-bedroom villa with like an outdoor private swimming pool. It was like really, really nice. And it was like fully equipped, like the kitchen area. So like it's good. Like if you're going in a large group, it was like perfect, perfect spot. It was just 2 girls. So we had more than enough space. We had like 3 bathrooms. We were like, what the heck are we going to do with all this space?
Well, that's always good when you have extra.
But, yes. Somehow we managed to have like stuff like everywhere. So it's pretty funny because we're like, yeah, we have 1 bathroom for cosmetics and 1 bathroom each. We each had separate bedrooms. So it was actually pretty cool. The location itself, like I said, it is a little bit on the outskirts. So it took us about like 10-15 minutes if we wanted to walk to town. So it's
Okay.
good if you want something a little bit more, secluded, more private, but still accessible to things.
Mhm.
They also have like bikes on site that you can take
Oh.
a bike and you can ride into town, which is like one of the real popular things to do to get around. And in Tulum, you
Mhm.
see people riding bicycles like everywhere because it's, cheaper. Or if you have a bike, it's free, or you can even rent it and it's even cheaper than, taking a cab back and forth places.
Yes,
So we kind of
definitely.
did that. We did the bikes, we did a little bit of walking, and then like whenever we went out at night, then we did, you know, splurge a little bit and got a private taxi.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was one of the locations we stood in. The other location, it's also in the outskirts of Tulum, but the good thing about that one, that hotel is called Alea,
Lea.
and they're right on the beach as well. So they have kind of like their own little private beach area. And same thing, it's like a smaller boutique hotel. It was pretty cool because when you first come in, you're kind of like in a gated community. You feel like you're like in a gated community because there's like
Mhm.
a security guard, and then your taxi goes in and brings you in. And same thing, that was a little bit further away, so that was probably like about a 35-minute drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to like the main area, to like the strip of the actual beach, and to the
Mhm.
things that we kind of wanted to do.
Mhm.
So that one again, if you want something more quiet, more reserved, then definitely that's a good spot. And they have a sister hotel like right next door, so you can use the facilities in both places. But I really enjoy the fact that you're right there on the beach, and it feels
Mhm.
like you're like in your own little private island because only the people
Ah.
that are in the hotel are in the beach area. You can do kayaking, like water sports, just like lounge.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool. It's like super, super relaxing.
Yeah. So maybe people could do like you did, split it into
Yeah.
two, spend the
Hmm.
first time exploring Tulum itself, closer to it, and
Exactly.
then go away and just feel disconnected and relax and take a break from the daily life, right?
Exactly. No, it was like a perfect combination. And like you said, the first half of the trip we kind of did where we wanted to explore more, and then the second half we just want to relax. There was
Mhm.
like one day that we were just so tired that we're like, you know what, we're just gonna stay in the hotel. There's restaurants on site. There's really no necessity for us to even leave. So
Mhm.
it was just perfect. And they even had like live music one night. So it was
Oh.
a really, really cool
The
spot. Yeah.
picture that you gave us and we posted on our profile, where did you
Yes.
take it?
So that is actually a place called Casa Malca.
Oh,
So that is in the strip of where all the hotels are located. It's actually at the very end. So that hotel actually used to belong to Pablo Escobar.
really?
Yeah,
We were
it belonged
covering Colombia yesterday, so look at this.
exactly. He had to invest everywhere. So it used to belong to him, and then I guess it went bankrupt at some point, if I'm not mistaken. And this artist in New York City actually bought it. And then what he did, he kind of converted it into kind of like a really cool like art studio. So you have sculptures all throughout, and it's like really like funky stuff too. So even when you're walking in there, like you see like that, those curtains, there's actually made out of wedding dresses.
Really? I thought it was
Yeah.
just fabric, but that
Oh
sounds
no.
even better.
Yeah. I think it's like over 250 wedding dresses. And it's really, really high. I mean, I'm pretty short, but you can kind of see from the dimensions of the photos,
Yes.
it's pretty high. So it was pretty cool. So everything around like that particular hotel, it was just a very interesting artwork and stuff like that.
Did you have a lot of space to be able to take that shot, or how did you take it?
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of like played around with it. So my friend, she took the picture for me. It's a big distance. Like the hotel itself is like really, really large. So it's not like you're just walking in and you're kind of cramped. There's like a lot of space everywhere.
Okay. I have a
Yeah.
trick, Joe, for the future. I just went to Jordan, and in Petra, the structure is really tall. So sometimes
Yeah.
they cannot fit you. So you know how you do
Yeah.
sometimes the panoramic size?
Oh yes.
So you just do it from
Mhm.
the bottom up, a
Yep.
panoramic, and this way you get the entire structure if it's higher than the dimensions of the phone. So when I did
Exactly.
that, it blew my mind. I was like, what? Now I'm gonna be
It's like
able to take
wow.
all the pictures, no matter how tall the buildings are.
Exactly. No, I actually did that when I went to Iceland. The large church, we couldn't just figure out any angle So then my husband was like, oh, well, do the panoramic. And I was like, oh my God, I never thought of that before. So it was definitely a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
But that place, so that actual place that we went, I'm sorry, the Casa Malca, that's one of the good things about Tulum, that even if you're not staying like in the beach area or like in the city center, if you're staying in the outskirts, like all of the hotels are along the beach side. What they do is that they offer like a kind of like a day pass.
Okay.
So typically for that one particularly, it was on the higher end. So we had to spend about 1,000 pesos each, which is about, when we went, that was about $50 US.
Okay.
I think the exchange was $1 was 18 pesos, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to consume, whether it was alcohol beverages, whether it was food, whatever it was, throughout the whole day, you needed to spend at least 1,000 pesos per person. But that gave you access to all the facilities, the beach, which was like phenomenal. The water was gorgeous. And they have showers in there, you know, the bathrooms, and obviously all of like the cool surrounding area, so you can take a ton of pictures. I think sometimes people can kind of get away with going in without having to pay anything, but it doesn't really happen. I think even if you just want to go in to kind of peek in, they charge you like a small fee.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because sometimes you want to stay, I don't know, in a hostel or in an Airbnb, but you want to have access to the beach. So knowing that you can pay a day fee and just have access to everything, that's really good.
Exactly. And they have so many different, like when you literally walk the whole entire strip, I can't even tell you how many like different hotels they are. So you really have to kind of do your research a little bit. So before I even went to Tulum, I kind of had a sense of specific places that I wanted to go to. But again, because, you know, some of them were charging like a daily fee, we really wanted to go to a place right next door called Nomade, but they charge like $100 per person, which was a little steep. And we were only going to go there for lunch because we already had dinner reservations. So then we ended up not being able to go there. And there they have like really cool like tents and stuff like on the beach. The restaurant itself, it kind of has like a Moroccan type of feel where you're like sitting on the floor to eat. Like it was very, very cute. But we ended up not even being able to go there.
Do they allow you to arrive earlier for dinner?
It depends. I mean, they don't really give you any restrictions. At least the places that we visited, we were able to be there from morning to whenever we wanted to.
Okay. And what was the name? Nomade?
Nomade, yeah. Okay. And it's like right next to Casa Malca.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Where did you have, you went to...
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, where did you have the best food? Because I am a foodie, so I'm one of the gems.
I know, so same here. So, I mean, the food, again, the same as accommodations, you can have from like budget to like luxury high-end dinners. So some of my favorite places that we went to eat, we went to this place called Latino, which they actually have one in New York City as well. So we went to the one in Tulum. The food was so good. It was a little bit on the pricier side, but everything was so fresh. We had, you know, fish, like grilled octopus, like a lot of seafood. It was super fresh, but it was a little bit pricey.
Now, when you say pricey, what do you say? What is that?
I mean, I'm from Dominican Republic. So for instance, when I go to DR, you can have like a high-end meal at a like 5-star restaurant for like $15, $20, $30 max a person. You know, versus here in the US, you know, I live in New Jersey, and go here or New York, you're spending $50, $60 easily a person. You know, so when I kind of think about going to other countries, I'm kind of thinking, okay, if I'm staying between the 20, 30 price range, then that's economical. Anything more than that, then it's kind of like New York City prices. I personally feel it's pricier. So that place was more like New York City prices. I think we each spent like $60, $70 for dinner. And we only had maybe one alcoholic beverage each.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, each drink was like $16, $20.
Oh, definitely New York prices.
It adds up, yeah. So again, I mean, in New York, we spend that money because we're kind of used to it. But when we travel, sometimes we kind of, you know, set our expectations a little bit lower when it comes to our spending. At least I do.
Yes. Sometimes I'm the total opposite. I am very stingy, if you want to call it, when I'm home. But when I travel, It's like money to me. I spend my money.
You splurge. I mean, I like to eat. It's the same way. I like to eat good, especially when I go away. I mean, I feel like the food is such a big part of any culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you kind of really get to experience a country by just what you're eating.
Yes.
So that place was good. We also went to this kind of like off the beaten path little mom and pop kind of little restaurant where we ate like tacos for like 75 cents,
No.
and they were phenomenal. Like
Where
I was
is
literally
that?
licking my finger. So I have that written down.
Like, share the wealth.
Yeah, I was like, oh God. And like I had so many like restaurants and stuff. All right. So that place is called Antojitos La Chiapaneca. I don't know if I probably completely mispronounced it.
Chapaneca?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chiapaneca. Mm-hmm.
Yum, yum.
Yeah, so that's in the city center, and the tacos were so good. It's like a super simple spot. They have like all different kinds of variety of tacos, and then they just kind of serve it, and then they bring out like this big spice jar, so you can add different kind of condiments and stuff. But it was so good, and when the bill came, I think we each spent not even like $5.
Wow.
So we were happy.
I was actually supposed to go to Tulum with Serena. She's actually here in the Zoom chat, and it was supposed to be now next week, I think.
Oh wow. Oh,
so spring break is gone. Yes.
Yeah, no, but the food was really, really good. So that was a good spot. A couple of my friends that had gone to Tulum, they highly recommended this restaurant called Hawthorne, and it was impossible for us to get through to them. So I would send an email like every single day to try to get a reservation, but apparently they book like months in advance. So even when we went there, we even tried. We're like, oh well, let's just stop by, see if there's a cancellation. We can get like a last minute reservation, but nope. Every single night they were always completely booked, and so many people recommended that place. So we were like, oh my God,
what is so special about that place?
I don't know. So according to my friend that went, she said that was like the best meal that she had, and she's a big foodie as well. And she said it was the best meal that she had. Everything was so fresh. They only apparently take cash, so you can't pay with a card or anything like that. But that the food was the best dinner she had in her whole time in Tulum. Wow. So I was a little upset about that, but I was like, at least it gives me something to do.
So the reservations are supposed to be through email, but in advance. Okay.
In advance, yeah. Even if you tried to email them, you'll get like an auto reply. And like, for instance, we went in January. So in December, I was emailing them like, hey, we want to do a reservation. And they're like, nope, at this time, we're only taking bookings for like February. So, definitely popular. And every time we stop by, it's like 2 doors down from Gitano. So we would stop by like, oh, maybe we can get reservations for the next time around. But yes, it never happened.
Well, now we are warned. Make sure we call in advance. 5 months, 6 months, a year.
Exactly. Get the reservations.
That's what I had to do for the restaurant in Mexico. Kept in the name, but I booked 10 months in advance.
Oh, wow.
But I made 5 reservations because I didn't know which one I was going to take. And then a month before, I canceled the others. And took 2, one for dinner and one for lunch.
Nice.
Different menus, so.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes.
Yeah, so that place was good. We also went to this other place called Burrito Amor, which the food was really, really good as well. It's like an outdoor area. They also have, it's kind of like open outdoor and indoor space. It's right in the city, in the town, and they have, everything's like vegan. I'm not vegan, but the menus like all vegan. They also have like vegetarian options, so they'll have like chicken and stuff like that as well. But everything looks like so good, and they serve the burritos in like this, like, it kind of looks like a plátano leaf. and they serve it in that, and it adds like this extra like flavor to the burrito. And they make like the tortillas, the masa, I guess, for the burrito, everything. They make everything right in house. And that place was really, really good. That was the first meal that we had when we got to Tulum, and it
Wow.
did not disappoint. Yeah,
Just
it
the
was
fact
really
that is served in a platano leaf, that
good. Yeah.
get me.
Yeah, and it was interesting because like the tortilla had like a distinct taste to it, and I guess it was because of the leaf. And I don't know if they kind of make it maybe with like coconut or something, because it also had like a little bit of coconut flavor to it. It was really good. Whatever they mixed it with, it was delicious. So
Mhm.
I highly recommend Burrito Amor. That was really, really good. And the prices weren't bad either. And I like because they have like TVs like by like the little bar area. So it's like more like a chill place. But you can go there for like lunch or even for dinner as well.
Nice. And what
So
kind
that
of activities did you do while in Tulum besides going to the beach? Like, what else is there?
that was pretty much it. we were being super lazy. I had like a full blown itinerary of things that I wanted to see and I wanted to do, but we were both just like, you know what? It had been very stressful for both of us, like at work and stuff, and we kind of wanted to go somewhere just to kind of like unwind. And it was kind of like a last minute trip also. So as far as activities, we really didn't do much, but then go to the different like beach clubs, just relax, eat a lot, enjoy the beach. However, there's so much to do like right in Tulum. So like I said, the town itself is kind of separated into three different sections, more or less. You have like the big strip, which is where all the different hotels are. And at the very, very beginning, they have the Tulum ruins. So it's kind of like a smaller version of like Chichen Itza.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like right there, right at the beginning of the strip.
Okay.
So I think there maybe it was about $6, and you can walk in and you can just check out the ruins. And then once you go to the bottom, they have a direct access to the beach. So you can kind of just like kind of lounge there. After I hear they it gets super hot and it gets humid. So imagine if you're like out in the outdoors exploring all the ruins, there's not much shade or cover. So you're gonna get hot. So, it's nice to be able to just kind of go down there and just relax by the beach. So they have that. And another thing that Tulum is very popular for is for cenotes.
Cenotes.
So those are like the little sinkholes. So it's called cenote manati.
Cenote
And
man.
I think we paid maybe about $3 or $4 just to kind of go in, swim around. But they also do like different kayak tours that you can do. And apparently you can also snorkel. There's like an alligator that lives in the cenote. So you can snorkel and go find him. Supposedly he's friendly, but we didn't want to
I wouldn't risk it.
meet him.
Yes.
But they do have a lot of different cenotes. There's that one there. Let me see, I have written down a few names. Yeah, so there's that cenote that we went to. There's cenote Suitun, and then that one's a little further away from Tulum. So that's perfect if you go to like Chichen Itza and do like a day trip. So I would recommend if you do go to Tulum that at least you rent a car at least for one day, because at least if you drive to Chichen Itza, I think it's about a 2-hour drive if I'm not mistaken. And then from there you can visit the very famous cenote. That's the one that you probably see all over like Instagram, where there's like a ray of light kind of beaming down on you. So you're like inside the cave area. So that one looked pretty cool.
Someone
A lot
said,
of the day trips that they offer.
someone said, I heard crocodiles are friendly like a puppy when not hungry.
Well, they say he's friendly, but we're like, it's all right. We'll take your word for it.
Yes. So I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I would suggest, that's okay. I would suggest definitely renting a car for at least the one day, and then that way you can, kind of explore outside of Tulum. I mean, personally, I was there. It was 5 days, 4 nights, and I felt like it was a little bit too much for us. So I think if you kind of couple Tulum, maybe do Riviera Maya or maybe Cancun and kind of split your time. I feel like 3 nights in Tulum is like more than enough to kind of see and do everything that there is to do like in
Mm-hmm.
town. But again, if you rent a car, you can drive to Chichen Itza, you can, stop by the famous, oh, I forget the name of it, but it's supposed to be yellow, like the houses, and it's supposed to be kind of like old, charming, like very old school
Mm-hmm.
architecture. So that seemed pretty cool, but we didn't get a chance to do that. We were looking to hire like a private taxi to take us for the day, and they were charging
Yeah.
for like a private tour. It was like almost $400 US dollars. Yeah, because they take you, the whole entire day, and you're not being rushed around. But it was too much, so we decided not to do that. But I said next time. After going to Tulum, I felt super safe. The roads, like people driving, I didn't feel like anybody's driving like a madman. Like the rules are followed. It's not like when I go to Dominican Republic over there, people drive like maniacs, and I would never ever drive in DR.
Me
It's
neither.
kind of crazy, but in Tulum, I feel like it was more laid back. So
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely, if I go back again, I would definitely rent a car to kind of explore a little bit more in the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, like the taxi, it really does add up. Or you can walk, and it seems like when you look at it on the map, everything kind of looks like they're nearby, but you're sometimes walking 25, 30 minutes to get from one hotel to another. So
Mm-hmm. And how did you book your flight and the hotels? What sources do you use?
yeah, so typically, I book my flight directly with the airlines. I use this app called Hopper,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that and also Google Flights to kind of keep track of airfares. And when I find that, it tells you book now, prices are going to go up or prices are going to go down. So it's kind of like an estimate. It's similar to Kayak, but I like the Hopper app. I just personally find it to be more user friendly. So once I got the notification that the flights were on sale, then we went ahead and booked it directly. We flew through United Airlines, and it was nonstop from New Jersey to Cancun. And then for the hotel, I was actually working with 2 different hotel companies. So for those, they had approached me, when, and then I kind of, went from there. But typically the same thing. I just kind of book it online. I kind of do some research. I'll go like on Expedia, Trivago, and kind of check the places out. And then from there, either I try to reach out. Sometimes I do a couple of collaborations where I'm working with hotels directly, or even when I book them for myself personally, like out of pocket, I do everything. I try to do everything directly with them because I feel like sometimes you get a little bit more perks as opposed to booking through like
Yeah.
Expedia or
Because they are the
hotels.com or something
middlemen
like that.
and they need to make their
Exactly.
profit. So if you go directly through them, they
Exactly.
get everything. So they are more flexible with giving you things.
Exactly. Or even if like the website has like a higher fare, like I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I found it cheaper on this website. Are you guys able to honor the same pricing? I just feel like it's better when you're booking directly with the hotel. There's more flexibility if you need to make changes, or like if you want to request like an early check-in and things like that. I feel like they're more easy to accommodate than when you book it through a third party. Sometimes they can't find the reservations right away, or sometimes it could be a little bit of a hassle if you have to cancel or make any changes. So personally, I try to avoid, any third parties.
Mm-hmm. Did you go clubbing at all, or was it just a relaxing trip?
No, it was a little bit. We went to this place. So the place that we went for dinner, Gitano.
Mm-hmm.
So after like I think 10 or 11 o'clock, it kind of transformed into this super cool chill. Like you're out in the open area, like the stars are out. It's like super
Oh.
pretty, and they have like a little smaller, like little indoor, but they have music all throughout. So during dinner, it's a little bit more like low key. But then once like 11 o'clock hits and like everybody, done eating dinner, it turns into like a super fun, like outdoor club venue. So we did that one night, and there's this other place called Ice Cream Bar. We went
Oh.
there on a Sunday night, and they also do dinner there. You can order food. We also ate there, and the food was really good and like very reasonably priced. So we went there, and on that Sunday, they actually had a live band performing. So it was this group, they play jazz. I think they're called A La Par. And the girl has like a phenomenal voice. So like my friend that I went with, she loves like live music. So once we got there and the performers came on, she's like, oh yeah, we're not leaving. So next thing you know, it was like tequila shot, a couple of beers, and we were there literally for maybe like 4 hours. And we're like, okay, they're leaving. I guess it's time for us to go home now.
They had to kick you guys out.
Basically. So that trip was like super cool. Personally, I don't really like going to clubs. It's just not really, my scene anymore. I used to, but now I'm just like more like chill. I prefer more like a lounge or like a bar. So that place was like perfect because you're in the outdoors. You have the live music playing. It was a very, very chill atmosphere. So that I really enjoyed.
How was the weather when you went?
It was perfect. The whole time we were there, I think it was in like the mid 80s, and it rained once for like 20 minutes, and that was it. So the weather went to the beach. It was like, you can actually lay out in the beach when you're not like, you can sit there and like tan and stuff without not feeling like too hot. Like,
And you
like,
went in July?
so the weather was for me was perfect. No, in January. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And it was 80s in January. That's good.
Yeah. No, the weather was perfect. We went, it was the last week of January.
Oh, wow.
And the weather, was phenomenal. It wasn't too hot, so it was perfect even to kind of like explore. I know a lot of the people there said usually like July and August, obviously, is, more tourists come. But the weather is going to be excruciating because it's going to be super humid. It's going to be in the high 90s, hundreds. So for us, January was perfect, and it kind of gave us a break from the cold weather back home.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions. Anyone on Zoom, if you want to ask a question, go ahead and unmute yourself. If anyone on Instagram Live has a question, please go to the sign that has a question mark and write your questions there so we can ask Rosa any questions you have about Tulum.
Did they have like any public transportation, like the buses or anything like that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Did they have like any buses or public transportation?
They do. So they have a thing called colectivo. So basically, it's kind of like similar to like the buses, where like they'll have specific destinations where they're going to, and I think it's maybe like $1 or so, not even, because they pay in pesos, so it might be like 50 cents, and it'll take you down the strip. But a lot of the locals actually use the colectivo, so when you see the lines, like, and the buses, they're like cramped. It's not like your typical like buses that you would see, back in the States. It's like smaller, little compact buses, so they cram up like very, very quick.
Okay, so I'll be walking then.
Yeah. Walking or bicycling everywhere. Like, you see people on bikes everywhere. I personally hadn't rode a bike since I was like 5 years old. So when I went to Tulum, my friend was like, yeah, let's just bike it. I'm like, I don't know about that. But we actually did, and it was fun. They have a lot of designated areas. So even when you're riding the bikes, they have restrictions as far as you're not going like on the actual street. They'll have like kind of like a little pathway. So you kind of feel, safe.
Someone is asking, Eliana is asking, best place for ceviche and or fish tacos. Did you find?
So pretty much everywhere that we ate, we pretty much had ceviche like almost every single day that we were there. So on the beach strip, there was this place called Hip Tulum. And again, it's like one of those beach clubs. So we had the ceviche there. And for me, that was like the best ceviche that I had the whole entire trip. It was so good. And even our hotel, they actually served ceviche as well. It was pretty tasty. It was really good. It was always fresh. But the one in Hip Tulum, that one was my absolute favorite.
Nice. Any more questions? Oh, someone asked about the mosquitoes. Did you encounter mosquitoes?
The mosquitoes are vicious. I literally would just like spray myself. I would avoid like even using like any like scented like lotion, perfume, or anything like that. So we definitely use a lot of like repellent, especially like at night. Those mosquitoes, man, they get you.
So long dresses or
Yeah.
pants. And I remember going back to the R one time and I had all covered, but I had sandals. So they bit me
Oh.
in between the
And
sandals.
that's like the worst because when I start to itch, you're just like,
Yes. Then the next day I wore sneakers and they bit me on my lip. I'm like, I cannot escape
oh
them.
yeah, Dominican mosquitoes, man, they're vicious.
Yes. And we bring the sweet blood.
Exactly. Yes, so no, the mosquitoes in Tulum definitely, and I guess they weren't maybe as active because it wasn't raining or anything like that when we went there. But when my friend went, she came back, she had like bumps, like literally, like she literally got attacked by mosquitoes. It was pretty bad. So we were a little bit fortunate where they weren't, you know, as much everywhere, but in some areas they were definitely, you know,
Good
more
to know.
active than not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Any more questions, guys?
Yeah, the picture that you posted. Do you know the stories behind the wedding dresses? Like, are they donated? Do they
So
mean
she's
something?
asking about
Symbolize
the
something?
story behind the wedding dresses in the pictures, in the picture that she gave us.
I think that he just decided he wanted to kind of make like this cool little sculpture. And it's just like basically like old like vintage couches, and they're suspended by all these wedding dresses and like ropes and stuff. But I don't think that they belong to anybody because a lot of them they look the same. Like if you like zoom in on the photo, you can see that there are a lot of duplicates. So I think they just
Okay.
probably just bought it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry,
Just
I have a
like
question.
reasons.
You said you traveled in January.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a low season or a high season for Tulum?
So
So
she's
for them,
asking if January is a high season or low season for Tulum.
yeah, so for them, I think starting like December to like February is considered high season as well because
Mm.
you're getting a lot of tourists coming from like, you know, the US or like even European countries where it's a little bit colder. So they do get to get a lot of tourists during January, February timeframe. And then I think it peaks again around July and August. So then December to February would also be peak for them.
Mm.
Cool, thank you.
Yes.
No problem.
Right. Any more questions, guys, before we go? Yes. No. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't see anything more on there. Mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Rosa, for giving us
No,
all
thank
of
you.
this very useful information about Tulum. I am
Thank
very
you.
excited and I'm looking forward to travel there and to take those amazing pictures that you have been posting as well. So I cannot wait to go. I appreciate you taking your time to tell us your story about Tulum. And we're going to
No, thank
follow
you.
your journey. Make sure you follow her, please. What is your Instagram again? Rosa Alec?
Yeah, so it's a combination of my name. So Rosa Alex, which is short for Alexandra, and then C for my last name. So Rosa Alex C.
Excellent. And tomorrow we are going to have Yvonne, Latina Chick Travels. She's going to talk to us about Peru, how to plan an efficient trip to Peru without overwhelming yourself, guys. Tomorrow at the same time here is 6 Eastern time and 3 p.m. Pacific time. So I cannot wait to see you again tomorrow, either through Instagram Live or through Zoom. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
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 Where is my Zoom? Where did it go?